Prop 36 to me is the classic example of a real problem and a bad and wrong solution. In fact, it's worse than a wrong solution. It's a promise that cannot possibly be upheld. The idea of this, and we've done this before in California history, we increased criminal penalties significantly in the 90s. What happened? A lot of people who didn't belong in prison ended up in prison. The cost to the taxpayers was in the billions. The federal courts came in and said, your prisons and jails are overcrowded. You need to reduce the size. We've done that by differentiating the sellers and the armed robbers who are prosecuted for felonies versus people who need treatment. But here's where the false promise is. Using the criminal law to make people take treatment is not a bad idea if you're serious about the treatment. But my experience as a big city mayor, when I see we had a 41% reduction in unsheltered homelessness in our county, the best in the state, but there's still too many people who are drug addicted with mental health problems out on our streets. Ask yourself the question, why haven't our district attorneys, why haven't our law enforcement officials, why haven't the counties gotten those people into treatment? And here's the answer. There aren't enough treatment slots. And this will, in fact, cut back funding for treatment. It's a false promise.
And I want to get to...
I would disagree on that because we had drug court before Prop 47. In Sacramento County, it dropped by 70%. So folks were being put into drug court and getting clean. When Prop 47 happened, there was no incentive to go to drug court, and that's been the big issue. And we were mandating people to get treatment in drug court. The judges were doing that. They lost that tool, and that's really the big issue. This is a war on addiction, to get rid of that.
They did not lose the tool. We turned it into a misdemeanor, and all of the courts that changed their structures so that people with misdemeanor charges could get treatment through the courts have succeeded and expanded their numbers.
They're not going.
Every single day in courts, people can say,
let me get Tanisha into this conversation here. So you've been very outspoken about Prop 36. Why? And you've said that we won't see the outcome. Really quickly, why do you think that, and what do you think will happen?
Well, I mean, we've already tried the war on drugs. We've already tried tough on crime, and we saw the rates of incarceration increase in the state, but we did not see a decrease in crime. Incarcerating people did not make our streets safer. What did make our streets safer was investing in the actual programs that people needed to either prevent them from committing crimes in the first place or to help them get their lives back on track, like reentry programs, like violence intervention programs. There is a role for law enforcement if law enforcement is doing their job, if they are making arrests, if prosecutors are prosecuting crimes, people getting convicted. But they can't rely on that alone for public safety. That's why the voters actually passed Prop 47, because they also believed that we needed a balance to this. But to put this false promise before voters and have them believe that by magically passing this law that all of a sudden your things that are behind glass at Target are all of a sudden going to be available for you to walk up on a shelf and pull away, or that it's going to stop you from committing crime is a false promise. What will happen is that we're going to have many people who are going to be routed into the criminal justice system, who are going to come out of that system with more barriers that will leave us all less safe.